What is up, players? It's Warboss Tay back up in your television set for another review of WandaVision on Disney+. This time we're looking at episode 4, Uncharted Territory. This is a completely brand new direction. I was both fearing and afraid of, as well as being cautiously optimistic of the series going in this direction. There were some things I thought they handled really well, and some things I thought were handled poorly, and a couple of nice surprises along the way, which we will talk about in the spoiler section. But if you are just here for my spoiler-free review, let me tell you this. Wanda and Vision, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, they continue to really anchor this series. And the story really is about the two of them. And in the first 3 episodes, jumping from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s, there's no big significant change outside of that. I'm not really going to spoil what happens in the episode. Really, you shouldn't spoil it yourself. If you are completely untainted by the reviews online, Twitter, YouTube videos, just take my advice. Go see it for yourself. Even if you're not a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you watched Avengers Endgame, Civil War, you know, the big spectacle movies where you saw Wanda and Vision develop this burgeoning attraction into some kind of weird relationship, and then just she wasn't given much to do, you know, in the movies when she lost Vision. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, which was like, I think everybody's seen it. But this show really allows Elizabeth Olsen to dig through her bag of tricks as an actress, and she does not disappoint. She's really great. Paul Bettany, solid as always. I love him in everything I've seen him do. You know what? Maybe not Da Vinci Code. Maybe not Wimbledon. The majority of projects I've seen Paul Bettany do, he is fantastic. And his character in this that he plays, this Vision character, it is, or I should say this Vision character, this character that Vision has to portray in this weird TV land is he's really grown into it. He's made it his own. He's not doing so much of a stereotype as his own interpretation of a very, very solid, well-rounded character. And especially in this episode, because if you remember episode 3, she just gave birth to the twins. Now we're losing his goofy, bumbly stereotype, and he's becoming a fully formed character. And he gets to exhibit a little bit of softness and warmth. There's actually surprisingly not too much that they get to do in this episode, which I'll talk about in the spoiler section, but the two of them, fantastic. So with that, I'm going to send you off out the door. Go see this episode if you've not already. There are a ton of Easter eggs. Okay, if you are into Easter eggs, trivia, digging through, looking for connections to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this one it takes the cake. There are some great deep dives into past Marvel works. We'll talk about some of them, and I just really love them. So, okay, check it out. I give it an A-. Could have been an A+, but they were going to go some directions I knew. Oh man, I just knew after the end of the last episode they were going to go, and it kind of pulls you out of the main thrust of the momentum that they've built over the first 3 episodes, and it takes you in a completely different direction, which we will talk about now. Welcome to the spoiler section, everybody. Okay, I knew they were going to do this. As soon as Monica Rambeau, aka Geraldine, gets kicked out of the simulated world, the TV land world, which we'll call it, and you see her in the present day in her crazy Geraldine makeup and outfit, I knew this episode would be about her story and what she's doing there, who she is. A lot of interesting things about her character and the world, the fiction, the story that took place after she was actually involved in it. All of her lead up in the beginning, when she comes back from the snap, when she rematerializes 4 or 5, however many years later after the Thanos snap, it looked like a really bad episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It looked like B television, with her going to the SWORD office headquarters and having to deal with the other personnel. It was only when she was getting things going and jumping into the world and when Randall Park and Kat Dennings came back in. It was great to see those characters too. Jimmy Woo and Dr. Lewis now. She's a doctor, so she's gone from being just the assistant of Skarsgård's character in the Thor movies to actually being an expert in her field. So that's good to see. And that they called on her for this position. I really, to be brought in on this task force to figure out what's going on, I thought was really great. So digging into the past Marvel Universe, bringing her back, bringing Randall Park back as Jimmy Woo. We only met him and saw a little bit of him in Ant-Man. I love, though, there's this little scene of him when he first meets Monica Rambeau, where he does a sleight of hand card trick. He produces a card out of thin air. And I was like Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I sat up and I pointed at the screen and I said that he's doing the Scott Lang trick, because he watched Ant-Man do that same trick. And I remember in Ant-Man and the Wasp, he was like, "Whoa, how did you do that?" And I thought that's kind of funny. But him doing it again shows that in the time between Ant-Man and the Wasp and this show, he learned it. He grew as a character. Although you can't really tell because some of his dialogue was a little ham-fisty and not the greatest. I think Randall Park's a fine actor. I just don't think he was given the best material to work with. And you can see sometimes he delivers his lines. You can see him kind of cringing on the inside. And I don't think this was intentional, but there are some pretty bad lines. So poor guy. Check out this show. This show continues to amaze me. I just did not like how they had to go into her backstory as she's the daughter of Captain Marvel's best friend. Did she need to be? I don't think so. You didn't need to have Captain Marvel's best friend's daughter grow up to be like a super secret agent. There's no reason for it, except to, I guess, show that she developed into this good, idealistic person because when she was a little girl, she met Carol Danvers. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling that. I wasn't feeling the whole beginning about the sword organization. I think a little less could have been done with that. And the most glaring, I wrote this down in my notes and I circled it and I underlined it and I drew angry faces next to it. When, I keep forgetting her real name, Maria Rambeau goes to meet Jimmy Woo at the outskirts of Westview. There are two local sheriffs who don't see the town, and they just have this cognitive, like, they don't see it. They cannot accept that it's there, even though the sign is there. You could see the illusion of a town behind them. But their car is facing towards the town that Monica Rambeau gets sucked into, and when they say, "Okay, thank you, sheriffs, that'll be all," and the sheriffs get in their car and drive away, they don't do a U-turn and drive the way they came. They don't pretend like they're facing a cliff or the end of the road. It looks like they drive right into the town, which they just denied existing. That's, oh man. I don't know if that was a production misstep or something, but I don't know how they could have seen that. And nobody caught that they do not see this town. They don't accept that it exists. Monica disappears into it just by touching it. And they literally drive off screen in the direction of the town. I don't know. Did I miss something? I don't think I did. And that really made me upset. But watching the episode again, seeing the end where Elizabeth Olsen blasts Monica Rambeau out of her house, she has this chilling, very cold expression where all of a sudden you can see, okay, this is all Wanda's world. She's created this world, and now you have outside forces like S.W.O.R.D., Maria Rambeau, Randall Park, Dr. Lewis. I forget her first name. I don't think it's Kat, because Kat Dennings is the actress's name. But now you have people figuring out that she's created a sitcom world. And she's living this world with this fake Vision in her mind. When she was reminded that Vision is dead, for a second you see him come in and he's looking at her, and it looks like his forehead got caved in when Thanos took the Vision Stone out. It was really chilling. That whole little scene in the end, her expression, the way she deals with Maria Rambeau, that coldness, that hardness that you do not see in the first 3 episodes at all, because she's playing that stereotypical TV land housewife. You see her really turn it on, and that made me go like, wow, she's great. And Paul Bettany when he comes back in and he says, we can move anywhere we want. He's got this warmth to him. And just you see him wanting to play more and wanting to give his character more depth and more warmth and more softness. Really great. So the fact that they dived into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and they brought these characters who have not had any interaction with Wanda or Vision in their movies. As you recall, Randall Park was only in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Kat Dennings was only in Thor, and I believe Thor: The Dark World, as Natalie Portman's assistant. Then you can really tell that Kevin Feige and the Marvel people want to draw more connective strands. They want to intermingle the universes and the worlds and the stories and the characters. And I think that's great because that's what the comics are all about. You've got characters making cameo appearances in each other's storylines all the time. And of course, we're not going to see the big name characters like Thor and Captain America. It would be so funny though if if Brie Larson cameoed as Captain Marvel for like 5 seconds in this series. I would have just thrown my hands up in the air. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I really enjoyed this episode. There were some cringy things I wish they didn't do, but overall, very happy to see the return of Randall Park and Kat Dennings. Very happy to see them getting to do more with it, and I'm looking forward to see where the show is going to go from here. Who knows? It's anybody's guess, but I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are as well. Thanks for watching. I want to thank my patrons. On Patreon, you can join the Players Club and help support my studio there. And if you want to get into the miniature side of things, I got a whole thing over there, baby. It's a whole nother world. It's like it's like my WandaVision movie and TV show reviews that are going to start coming out on this channel exist completely separately from the world of miniatures, painting, and wargaming thing that I do. All right, I hope you guys are having a great day. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Laters!